The challenging times faced by business these days have shown the difficulty in managing HR issues and maintaining profitability. Keeping focus on the core business and finding the right partners to help with ancillary functions like HR administration is why more than 500 companies across the country turn to Tryon Solutions. Tryon relieves the stress and burden of HR administration so companies, small to large, can stay focused on why they went into business in the first place. Small companies turn to Tryon to manage their payroll and taxes, benefits administration, workers' compensation, and regulatory compliance, so they don't need to build a big HR department. Larger companies add Tryon as an extension of their existing HR staffs, achieving efficiencies and enhancing the bottom line. Check out Tryon at RelyOnTryon.com and receive a free consultation from one of its business advisors. It'll be the best business decision you'll ever make.
Welcome, everyone, to Reboot the World Campus Party's first ever digital edition. We're excited to have Jeffrey Laskowski from the AAA Auto Club presenting Pioneers of the Future. Over to you, Jeffrey.
Thank you. Hey, it's great to be here. Welcome to the Let's Reboot the World digital event. I'm honored to be a part of this, and I'm looking forward to discussing this with you all today. Thank you for being part of this. This is a session on Pioneers of the Future, and something that I've been working on for a little while, and something I hope you find valuable. So with that, I'm just going to jump right in and get started. First off, this is how the AAA Auto Club group has been using students to help reshape our future. How we came about with this is, I think about a year and a half ago, I started the innovation team at the Auto Club, the AAA Auto Club group. And in doing so, I was looking for different, arrows for our quiver, or different ways of doing innovation. And I was really looking for a sustainable innovation program, a way of being able to have a sustainable, reusable innovation program that we could use over and over again. And with that, there were things like hackathons and design jams and design sprints, which were all part of that original equation of being able to create that sustainable program. But the one thing that really helped shape our future was the student program that we had. And so I'm going to go through it with you today. I think like anything, when you build a reusable, sustainable program, you've got to be able to think about the behaviors that you're looking for and the way that you want to be able to shape that program. And so with that, you got to kind of start with the end in mind and think about how these programs are supposed to be. But more importantly, to think about how do you take that program, and if you do come off course a little bit, how do you get back on track? And how do you get back to where you want to go? So when you think about this program and you start to take it in, think about how this might apply to you and to your company, and more importantly, how you could get back on track if you do come off track. For example, I think about myself personally. I've had a few issues with my weight, and which led me to a lot of times looking for diets and ways of losing weight. But what I've come to learn over the time is to have a good recovery plan, that if I do come off, I go off on the weekend and I say, oh, I ate a little more than I should. I look for that recovery plan to get back on track and to be able to get back to where I need to go. And I think that's important for innovation programs as well, that when you're starting to build these things, you think about how do I get back on track and how do I get back on course if I do come off course. And the other thing that I typically tend to look for is I look for the people in the company that want to be part of these innovation programs. I find that 1/3 of the company is really looking to be innovative. 1/3 of the company is really looking to, are interested in it, but still want to see a little results before they jump in. And 1/3 of the company usually is interested as being a part of it. And what I found is to try to embrace the 1/3 of the company that really wants to be part of the innovation program, and then try to recruit the second half to become part of that program as well. So as you take a look at this and you think about these programs, and really any innovation program that you're trying to put in place, think about that and put that, and help that bring your innovation programs together. The other thing that I think is really important for innovation is that innovation falls in the gaps between departments and different people. That one team that's typically working together every day doesn't typically have they have good innovative ideas, but they tend to be very focused. That innovation works best when you can get fresh minds to be part of it, and you can get different departments to come together and to work together on innovation. And that's where I think where the value of this particular workshop is going to be very helpful. So with that, just a little bit about me. I'm Jeff Laskowski. I'm the Director of Innovation for the AAA Auto Club Group. And I've been working on this for a little over a year. Like I said, I put a lot of programs in place today to help build this program. I'm also a professor at Oakland University. So I spend my time teaching. It's something I've come into. I'm actually an author at the PAC-T Publishing. So I've written a book which actually helped me become a professor at Oakland University, and which helped me to build this program of getting students and fresh minds to be able to be a part of our innovation program at the AAA Auto Club Group. So with that, our lab is called the Hatch Garage Lab. So if you see at the bottom, it says Hatch Garage. That's the innovation program that I have within the AAA Auto Club Group. So we've built the Hatch Garage Labs, and where I do my work. So now when I joined the AAA Auto Club Group, I had some unique challenges. First off, the AAA Auto Club Group is an over 100-year-old company. So what's interesting about that is that it really was kind of a lot of our great innovation went on very early in our company. And then we had a section where we kind of, the innovation got more incremental and less radical and less disruptive. And so my job is really to get us back to having some more innovative approaches within the AAA Auto Club Group. And with that, how do I unlock talent, and how do I engage, a wider audience to do innovation within a company that's been around for a very long time, has become, not doing as much innovation as it did when it first started. So I wanted to be able to bring that back and be able to, to bring in, more innovation. So to do that, I first looked at the history of the AAA Auto Club Group. And a person that really jumped out at me was Augustus Post. He was basically the founder of the AAA. And he's slightly famous. Some of you may have heard of him before. He was in a movie which was called The Unforgettable Augustus Post. If you saw that movie, you're probably aware of him. If not, he's got a very interesting history. He obviously founded the AAA Club. He also created the landing gear for planes. That tricycle style system was something he developed in conjunction with Bell Labs. He was the third registered man to fly, a recorded person to fly a plane, and was quite not just an innovator, but just very risk-taking kind of a person. And one of his interesting stories was a story about him actually flying a hot air balloon. And he was over a mile in the air, and he crashed. He fell a mile through space, through somebody's roof, and somehow managed to survive. And everybody in there's somebody sleeping in the house that actually wasn't hurt either, and the two people in the balloon weren't hurt. And he was a true innovator that inspired me as part of getting started with this program. Secondarily, with innovation history, was William Potts, was another person that really spoke to me as an innovator. And he was a Detroit native, and part of the police department at the Detroit Police Department. And he came over to the AAA Auto Club Group and was a true innovator. He actually invented the traffic light. With his experience with the police department, he realized that it took a cop physically starting and stopping people to direct traffic on a road. And he said, hey, I could put together this traffic light and hang it up, and we could not have a police officer standing in the middle of the road. And so hence he developed the actual traffic lights that you probably go past every day when you drive. And it was quite the innovation. I actually have a replica of that outside of my labs at the AAA Auto Club Group. And I also, if you actually go to the Henry Ford Museum, you can see his actual prototype there of that AAA, that light. So he also developed, interesting enough, a dispatch system for AAA as well. So when you use roadside services with AAA, he actually invented back in the 1930s the dispatch system that was used till recently, and so he was quite an innovator. So moving on. So the three programs we put in place was first an intern program, a university program, and a museum program. And before I get into this, people may be in different spots in their career. Maybe you're a student, or maybe just getting started in your career. Maybe you're part of an innovation team yourself, or leading an innovation team. Or maybe you're just looking to do some innovation work within your own company. Maybe you're not part of any of that. So I think there's a couple different lenses you could view this through. But what this really is a program for being able to drive innovation within your company using resources that are relatively inexpensive, and just a great way of, and really having fresh new concepts and ideas of being able to drive that innovation. So and the three different programs we have is first an intern garage, where we actually bring interns in to do our 360 innovation. Secondarily, we use a lot of university programs to extend our innovation reach. So if you think about it this way, a lot of our primary innovations are things that we want to work on. We'll have the interns work on that. But secondarily, we'll use the university programs for kind of our second tier innovations, the things that we identified as being important, but we're just a little bit off the things that we wanted to do. We can use university programs to help give us more reach and more breadth, and to help us extend. And then lastly, we use a lot of museums to be able to reach the K through 12 market. So that's the K through 12 students, to try to get even fresher ideas and work with even fresher minds, and maybe even try to help to get them to potentially be part of our labs at some point. So so it's really interesting, and we're really trying to balance our risk. You know what I mean? Where we're putting our most important projects into the intern garage and kind of working down from there. A lot of this stuff came from my work with Oakland University, where I was able to build the primary workshop with my relationships with Oakland University, and it kind of ballooned. I didn't really set out to build this program. It just kind of happened with my relationships with Oakland University, and then I was able to grow it into other universities, and it just kind of developed into its own program. And again, I'm going to walk through each of these different programs. So. But before I do, a couple things too to keep in mind. Right now, I'm currently working with 6 universities. We have over 25 students, and we really have unlimited ideas. So if you think about it, and I think in the fall, we're going to be more like 7 or 8 universities with over 40 students and still having unlimited ideas. So a lot of really interesting, abilities to innovate here. So first off, there's the intern garage, which is our intern program. Typically, each semester we'll hire 4 to 5 college students to come in and be part of the program. What's interesting about our innovation program is we're not just bringing interns in to do our grunt work. Here, do this Excel spreadsheet, go get me coffee. We're actually bringing the interns in to do work, to be able to go and solve major challenges that are facing the AAA Auto Club group. We start with a business challenge. We ask them to solve that business challenge. The students solve it, and we help guide those students. And we basically follow a very simple methodology. It's called the Sprint, or the Sprint book by Jake Knapp. And we use that methodology. If you're not familiar with it, it's a 5-day workshop where you start on a Monday with a problem and end on a Friday where you're actually testing a prototype. The only difference that we do is that we actually run it over 5 weeks versus 5 days. That way the students get a little break. And we can also align other interns that might be working for a different department to be a part of it, because there's only a 1-day-a-week commitment for other interns within AAA Club group. So it ends up being a really great program for our students, because they really get a real-world experience of being able to solve a problem, build a quick prototype, and test it, and get that real experience, and be able to be as part of our the company and to do some good things. So with that, I'm going to switch over to a video that I have of this program. The Intern Garage at the
ACG, Extraordinary Innovation.
Here at AAA as an intern, it's been great. We've developed prototypes, we've developed mobile apps, we've even networked with other companies such as Google. Going out into the field and putting our prototypes and seeing our prototypes in use has been a great experience.
The university project is important to innovation. It helps students, ACG, and it helps universities as well. Students get the benefit of being in a real-world environment and getting to understand how the environment works, while ACG gets the benefit of new minds and great ideas.
This year, we were able to start the intern garage in our hatch garage, where interns will have the opportunity to come in and learn about ACG, immerse themselves in the culture, and use methodologies and design thinking sprints to pick up prototypes and develop it out on their own. In doing so, they get to experience user testing, development with HTML and CSS, prototyping software like Adobe XD, and weekly they get to meet with the leaders of ACG to learn more about the company.
My favorite moment in the intern garage has been the design sprints that we've been doing. It helps me to think out of the box, collaborate with people, think about more than just the product, even about the people, how they will affect the product.
I have really enjoyed the intern garage experience. I really enjoyed collaborating with all of my intern team members and working on projects that not only impact ACG as a company, but also allow me to develop my skills.
ACG has partnered with the University of South Florida to engage in digital ethnography research. Together, we've been working to analyze and predict trends around emerging technologies. As a result, this will allow us to predict the wants and needs of our customers and members and allow us to continuously provide them with the highest level of service in the industry.
ACG is partnering with Oakland University in the Artificial Intelligence Department by offering challenges through their capstone projects for graduate students in hopes of getting back high-quality artificial intelligence models.
One of our goals of 2020 is to start expanding on our work with IoT. LTU and our partnership that we've made with Mark Rucky and Lawrence Tech has allowed us this opportunity. This year we will be doing a hackathon where we will be able to recruit students and provide them with a challenge to create an IoT device.
MSU's Gel Lab does games for entertainment and learning and designing games to advance state-of-the-art knowledge about social and individual effects of digital games. The Gel Lab is from MSU's Game Design and Development Program, which is one of the top 10 ranked programs in the country. I know we're going to do awesome things together.
For the first time, the Auto Club Group is partnering with universities, the University of Michigan and Wayne State University. The university students get real-world experience and they get to finish their degree, and the client at the end of the semester gets a real working finished product.
Building relationships with universities is at the forefront of our initiatives for 2020 and beyond. Expanding our intern program to new locations within ACG is critical in 2020. Additionally, partnering with more universities through hackathons and idea champs is a key initiative for this year as well. Lastly, we hope to do more joint research with more universities within our university.
So another program that we work on as well is the university programs. A lot of universities have senior projects and capstone projects, which we look to engage in. We're currently working with a couple of universities right now. These are programs that you would find at the universities that they're trying to have the students work on with companies, and they tend to be very great ways of being engaged. We're working right now for AI or artificial intelligence project right now to try to predict breakdowns. We're hoping that we can help our AAA members that before their vehicle breaks down, that there may be some issues that we could maybe help tell them before that breaks down. And with our big data, we're hoping to try to find some correlations, and we're using students to help merge through and find that those patterns. Secondarily, we also use them to help build prototypes like e-commerce sites. So a lot of times they're pretty good at being able to build a quick prototype for us. Typically not stuff that you're going to go to market with, but stuff that's good enough to do a little testing and get some customer feedback to see if these ideas and concepts are going to work before we invest a lot of money in developing them. And we've also actually played around with some biofuels as well. We didn't get real far. We were starting that project this semester, and unfortunately, the COVID had stopped this project. But we were actually working on growing algae and looking at biofuels to cut down on carbon emissions and to come up with a more sustainable fuel approach for AAA. So those were some great programs for us as well. Additionally, something else that I've really come to learn over the years is that that working with universities can be very cost effective. A lot of times hackathons, which are programs where you come in and you bring in a challenge statement and you have people come and try to build a design to solve it, and usually within a day or two span. Those are very effective and great ways of having innovation in your company. But what I found is they tend to be very expensive if you go to a third party to actually run that hackathon. Usually I've been looking at around $50,000 to host a hackathon through a third party. Where I've also found if I go through a university, I can typically get a hackathon done for a fraction of the price, and that the students are usually willing to do it for less money. And I also find that you get better ideas because the students have fresher minds. They haven't been in the industry that long, and they come up with really unique ideas. So I think in terms of cracking the innovation code, the university programs really can be, a big part of that. And it's also a lot of fun to work with the students. Real recently, we've been working with the Henry Ford Museum. So our newest addition to the program is working with what I call the K through 12 students. And as we've been working with them, we've come to find that they've got a lot of really good innovative ideas. And we've partnered with the Henry Ford Museum, which has turned to doing a lot of online innovation work, where they're putting challenges out and having K through 12 students help solve it. And we tend to get involved in the judging, and we're involved with those programs and help to keep that innovation going. And actually in hopes of potentially being able to find some fresh minds that could become part of our Hatch Garage labs. And so we're really trying to get all angles when it comes to students, as they all could be part of our future. Some of the outputs of this program, we've actually got 3 patents right now. So from this program, we've had 3 really unique ideas that we're actually having the patent company. One of the ideas was really interesting idea. We had found a way of being able, roadside work actually is very dangerous for our roadside workers, by the way. If you're ever on the side of the road, understand you're in a dangerous situation. And our roadside workers are on the side of the road every day. And we actually have developed some technology that actually can help our roadside workers be a little safer, and all direct output of the Hatch Garage and in our innovation program. So we're really pretty proud of that. And we're seeing some true innovation coming from this project. Another very interesting thing that we've done is some open source projects with the universities. One of the things that we're working on right now with the University of South Florida is a digital ethnography program. What digital ethnography is the ability to research technology and how people feel about that technology at every given point. Technology tends to trend up and down, that when good things happen, people like technology, and as it's new technology, tends to be a little bit feared. Let's pretend today is 1995, and we were looking at the internet as a new technology. I think we would find a lot of people were really nervous about the internet. They were afraid to use it. It wasn't understood, and people were afraid of it. And obviously today, the internet is just a part of our life and part of our world. And the idea back in 1995 of getting in the car with somebody, like an Uber experience, would be unheard of. But in 2020, that's very commonplace, because the ethnography around that technology, right? The sentiment around that technology has improved, and it's become really great. And why that's important to us is that as we look at the different projects we can work on, we want to focus on the innovation that people are very excited to use, and they're trending well at that point. We may even stop a project if we see things are falling off in terms of the sentiment around a technology. So drone technology still, kind of up and down. Blockchain's kind of up and down. Mobile technology is very strong right now. And but we're trying to look for the points when technology is starting to become much more a household name, to be able to introduce our innovations at the right time. But we also felt like this wasn't something we wanted to have internal to ACG Auto Club Group. It's not part of our business model to have this technology. So we made it an open source project where other people can come and contribute and be part of that to help build our digital ethnography program. And we can share what we have with other people, and other people can share what they've done with us, and we can both help understand and grow trends in technology. And of course, it's not uncommon for games to break out in the innovation lab as well. That it's just it's really interesting. It's fun to be in the labs, and it's always fun to have a little bit of fun. If we spend all of our time working, you just don't get the right culture that cultivates innovation. So it's important for us to take a little time every now and again. And usually on a Friday afternoon, I would walk in the lab and I'd love to see games being played. I was always surprised. Mario Kart on Nintendo 64, the old console, seems to be a great game that I see in the lab all the time. The other big one was Zombies Ate My Neighbor on the Sega Genesis. So we tend to gravitate towards older games in the lab. So I don't know why that is, but we just do. And then as of late, the Jackbox party games have been a real hot game for us since we're all working remote and we haven't been in the labs that much. But I think it's important for any innovation team to take a little break every now and again and have a little bit of fun. So just to summarize, this is my use case, if you will. This is Jacob, or J cubed as we call him, or J3 at times. He was a he was an intern in the fall of 2020, and he was been with me for about 6 months. So, and what he's basically done in 6 months, I think, is pretty impressive. He is obviously had an internship with the AAA Auto Club Group, which I think is an impressive internship. He's also designed and developed a major app end to end. So he's actually been involved in the design of that app, the implementation, the prototype. He's actually worked to build a minimally viable product and even release it into a QA environment. So he's got a really great experience in terms of building applications. He's also contributed to an open source community. He's also, he's actually part of a patent. And he's also in the fall going to be leading a program at the University of Michigan. So he's getting some leadership experience. So I think for students that want to be involved in these types of things, I think it's very important. You can, if you get engaged in a program like these types of programs, it can really help your career, jumpstart a career. And additionally, if you're a leader of some kind, or even trying to build, you can build these types of programs and help recruit really good talent and really good people. So, and I'd like to actually compare this to William Bachman, which was the founder of the Auto Club Group. And he was another innovator that I looked to in the beginning. And he was basically invented the road sign. If you see him with this post right there, and you can actually see Jacob standing next to a similar replica of that pole. These were signs used to direct people from Detroit to Ann Arbor. And if you saw this pole, you could follow the poles to Ann Arbor to know how to get there, and hence was the first road signs in the United States. And of course, William Bachman was the person that developed it. So again, very innovative at that time, and we can see that Jacob's an innovative leader as well, and we hope that we can get him to really help lead the AAA Auto Club Group. So with that, I'm going to see if we have any questions.
Okay, we have one question that just came in. And how can I get started with a similar project at my company is the first question.
Yeah, that's a good question. How do you get started with a program like this? And obviously, I know a lot of people aren't professors like myself, so but it's actually not that hard. A lot of these programs are available via the web. So if you go out to a lot of these university websites and take a look, they'll advertise their senior projects and capstone projects on their websites. It just takes a little bit of searching to find them. You can usually submit your ideas and they'll give you a call if they like it. Sometimes you can submit multiple ideas. So if you have 2 or 3 ideas you want to work with, just submit them and see which ones get selected. The second thing that I did really to help is just talk to people who have recently graduated that may have gone through a senior project, and usually they can get you back in touch with their professor and help you build that program. Next question.
We have one more. What challenges have you faced with this program?
Yeah, we've had a few challenges with the program. First off, the solutions sometimes don't always come back. If we're working with an external university, for example, and we give them a project or a program, these are seniors. So the output of those programs typically isn't always the best code. Sometimes we get a good program where we do get code that we can actually use as part of the prototype for like a production deployment. But a lot of times the work that we get is college students. So we can use it to do an evaluation, but then typically we're going to be starting over again once that evaluation is done. Another challenges we've had is just some legal challenges, and trying to get the legal teams to come together. And by all means, the AAA Auto Club group has a great legal team, and they're really easy to work with, but working on the legal side of things can be a little challenging. So I recommend giving yourself some time when you do these programs to be able to get the lawyers to come together. Got a next question?
That's it for our Q&A section. I want to say thank you, Jeff. That was very informative. And I also want to give thank you to all our sponsors who have made this event possible. Thanks, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the program.
Thank you.
Dash cam video of fatal crash involving self-driving car.
And the drastic changes in our marine
antibiotic-resistant bacteria could result in 10 million deaths.
China just had its second warmest year going back at least 1.5
sickle cell disease leads to misshapen red
Today,
blood cells.
We hunt for answers. We push boundaries and tackle problems head on.
Today, we challenge ourselves to be innovative, creative, and daring.
To take risks and make mistakes. We strive.
We fail. We persevere. We get back up and find a better way.
Today, we learn.
We learn from our environment.
We learn from each other.
And we learn from the communities we seek to serve.
We combine our strengths to pursue the common good. Today, at Michigan, we work.
And our work will shape tomorrow.